Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Enemy Within campaign for DCS World. And this time, we have been set the task of helping the Georgians take out a CLA training base. So, from the information we've got from the previous missions, things we've captured, and people we've captured, we have an approximate location of some of the CLA bases, and so we have to go and try and find them. Very notably, this time though, we are joined by a pair of Su-25Ts from Georgia, codenamed Ford-01, and they're going to be in charge of the initial attack. So we find the targets, point the targets out to them, and then they go in and actually drop the bombs. We're ordered only to go in if the Georgians mess up or if they run out of ammo. So in terms of what we are armed with, we have quite a few AGM-65Ds between us. We have some dumbfire bombs, the Mark 82s, quite a few GBU-12s, whereas my wingman carries the GBU-38, so I've got the laser-guided ones. He's got the GPS-guided ones. And also, I have regular rockets. Despite what the mission brief said, my wingman seems to actually be armed with the laser-guided rockets, and we'll see him use those a little bit later. And so, anyway, we take off, join up with Ford-01, and then we proceed to the target. So let's jump straight to where we start encountering the enemy.
1-2, got a tally on a watchtower up on a high hill. Looks like there's a jeep bar next to it and a couple of foot mobiles.
Well, the main camp's gotta be nearby. Keep looking.
Break, send launch.
Warning, autopilot.
So rudely they launch SAM, do brake and starts dropping flares, and thankfully it misses. Nicely enough, that does highlight their camp. Just down there. So it's got a good visual on the camp. And see the helipad in the middle of it.
Okay, 2 lead. I'm visual on a couple of tents, some vehicles, some foot mobiles next to, looks like a helipad.
2, A-firm. That's definitely a helipad.
And Ford-11, Dodge 1-1. I want you to go ahead and attack the main camp. I recommend you use your cluster bombs.
Dodge 1-1, Ford-11. Engaging target, cluster bomb.
So following the brief, we send in the Sukhois first.
Ford-11, good effect. Returning on the station.
And they seem to hit pretty well there. Just off to one side, there were several targets in that area. And then as I'm watching, second bombs come in as well. Fortunately, the second plane dropped the bombs on the exact same area as the first, so they just double kill.
I want you to go ahead and attack the main camp. I recommend you use your iron bombs.
Dodge 1-1, Ford-11. Engaging target with iron bomb. This is Ford-11, bombs away.
So here we can see the bombs dropping, the regular iron bombs, not cluster munitions. And you can see they're actually targeting the exact same place they were to begin with. And so they pretty much just repeat their strike. I don't think the second does much damage at all. This is the bomb dropped by the second plane. You can see it arcing in. First they get hopeful that it might hit a little more in the center, but no. Lands so close, it throws shrapnel into the crater of the first.
2,
So that leaves us to engage.
2, roger. 2, engaging air defenses. 2, missile launch. Dodge 1-1, rifle.
So, number 2 engages with Maverick on their air defences. Now I swing around to drop
Target destroyed.
a laser-guided bomb on the watchtower overlooking the actual base itself.
Dodge 1-1, Pickle.
And watch through the sight, make sure that it is lasing correctly.
2, rejoin.
And get a very nice hit there.
Looks like the watchtower and all surrounding targets are destroyed. 2, engaging target.
So send 2 back in, and he has one hell of a diving attack here. Nearly vertical.
2, missile away.
At first I thought he was going to go for a bomb drop, but no, he was going in for rockets. He does seem to have the laser-guided rocket, so he gets that right on target. Perfect hit. But then he goes wandering off to the south when I order him back in. I don't really know why. He seemed to think he needed about a 20-mile run-up on the target. So I just give up waiting and go in myself. I've got some rockets. There really isn't much left. A couple of tents and one vehicle. And so I do my best to
Pull up.
fire off a few rounds. See something that might be an infantryman, fire a rocket at it. Fire a rocket at the second tent,
Pull up.
and one at the truck. And luckily the one that's going in on the truck smacks straight in.
Camp is destroyed.
Dodge 1-1, Overlord. Roger. Continue. Scan the area for further threats.
So we move on a little bit, and it's not long before we encounter something else.
Grid. Wait 1. 3-8, Tango. Kilo, November. Niner 2-6-1.
Dodge 1-1, Overlord. Noted. You are cleared high.
2, running in.
So I do tell 2 to engage. Unfortunately, 2 decides to engage the previous base. So I go in on my own with laser bombs. Still got a fair few
Dodge
here.
1-1, Pickle.
And drop it. A few seconds later I realise this is on IR pointer mode. I don't know when I misclicked that. Quickly turn it over to laser. And thankfully I did that in time, so the bomb accurately drops on the vehicle and takes out a huge number of nearby infantry that was clustered around that vehicle. One of the vehicles makes a run for it,
Pull up.
so I drop my remaining bomb on it. Just double check, make sure that everything is lasing correctly. Then I jump over to third person view to see what this looks like. See the truck just there behind the smoke column. And as expected with a laser guided munition, direct
Second
hit.
camp is destroyed.
Warning,
We're gonna go ahead and resume
autopilot.
our patrol.
1-2, got tally on smoke and some vehicles in the clearing, just west of that camp.
Yeah, it leads visual. It looks like one of the cars is broke down.
Solid. Let's go make the others broke too.
Dodge 1-1, Overlord. Georgians do not have forces this high north. You're looking at the CLA patrol. You are cleared high.
So I get a good view, but number 2 has more bombs, so I decide to let him have the first round of attacks. He's still a stationary target, so really suitable for his GPS bombs. And against stationary targets, GPS bombs do absolutely fantastic work.
2, engaging target. 2,
And then he goes in for second pass, firing laser missiles.
2, Leo's on target.
Laser rockets, rather. And those laser rockets
And
are
Overlord
pretty damn
Dodge
accurate.
1-1, vehicle convoy is destroyed.
You are cleared to RTV. Good work out there.
1-2. I keep thinking, why do we see a helipad down there? I ain't heard no reports of CLA operating their own helos.
Yeah, me neither. They've got to be getting some kind of external help. Maybe from the breakaway territories or from the Russians themselves. I'm sure both our intel guys and the Georgian analysts will be happy to hear about that.
Yeah, maybe when the Polish Falcons arrive, they can fly a cap over the mountains and see who's helping out the terrorists.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. We could use the help. Try to jot down the number of vehicles and enemy soldiers you saw today. We're going to need it when we do the report.
Roger, Wilco.
And so that was quite a straightforward, quite easy mission. Again, one where we're controlling the pace of things, so not in a rush. Georgians did their bit in their Frogfeets, but really didn't do all that much. Mostly because they're dropping all of their bombs at once instead of one at a time. But still pretty fun. In terms of the sort of battle damage assessment at the end, the Georgians did kill 9 ground units. I got 17 ground units, and my wingman got 10, including a air defense vehicle. So, all in all, pretty good for no losses on our part. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, do consider leaving a like, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.